Claimed by the Wolf Brotherhood, Pax of the Pacific Northwest Series, Book 1. Written by Meg Ripley. Read by Veronica Hawley. Chapter 1. Hey, boss, there's some guy outside who wants to talk to you. Aiza Simpson sighed and pulled her attention away from her spreadsheets. It was difficult to shift her attention from the maddening minutiae of numbers and formulas, but this was the third interruption in 30 minutes, and it was probably time to accept she would not be balancing the bar's books that night. What guy? And what does he want to talk about? A big guy? Sin demonstrated by holding a hand far above her head and then her palms wide apart, miming a very big guy indeed. Biker? What does he want? He didn't say. He just told me he wanted to talk to you. I told him you were busy and that he could talk to Chad instead, but he said he had to talk to you. She had no desire to speak to a big biker, but this was the third night a man matching that description showed up after closing time, demanding to see Aiza. Clearly, this asshole was not going to take a hint. Maybe if she got the meeting out of the way, the stranger would leave her alone and she would actually get some work done. Okay. Tell him I'll be right out. Actually, I think right here is just fine. A giant man clad in leather from head to toe pushed Sin out of the way and filled the doorway. Aiza Simpson, you're not an easy woman to find. I didn't know anyone was looking for me. Should I? Sin started. Aiza waved her away. Go finish up for the night and get home. Sure thing. She shot the stranger a suspicious look and then ducked past his shoulder and scurried from the office. So, Mr. Butch. Mr. Butch, what can I do for you? If you're trying to book your band, you will need to speak with Chad. I don't handle any of that. It's just Butch, and no, ma'am, I'm not trying to book a band. Well, have a seat. Aiza lowered herself to her chair, reminding herself that she owned the place and that this man could not intimidate her, even if he chose to remain standing, looming over her desk. I'm here to talk about your taxes. His voice was a low rumble that came from deep in his chest, and as he spoke, Aiza realized the left side of his mouth didn't move. Puckered flesh marked a scar that stretched from his nose to his chin. Taxes? You don't look like someone who works for the Internal Revenue Service. I work for the Brotherhood. Aiza's mouth ran dry, but she was careful to school her features, keeping her face completely calm. Which Brotherhood? The Wolf Brotherhood. I've already told your associates that I will not be part of that racket. If you don't pay your taxes, how will we protect you and this lovely establishment? I don't need protection. People come here because they're looking for a good time. Your kind isn't welcome here. Butch came around to her side of the desk, the heels of his boots thumping against the wood floor. He stood so close she had to tilt her head back to see his face, but she refused to lean back or move away from his great bulk. This town belongs to the Brotherhood. And so does everything in this town. This bar belongs to me. If that's not clear to you, I'll be happy to call the cops and press charges for trespassing. Trespassing? Who's trespassing? I'm just here to have a little chat. He glanced down at her desk and his hand shot out without warning, knocking her computer to the ground. But if you want to call the cops, you're welcome to. Nobody wants the cops involved. Just go tell your boss or your alpha or whatever that I'm not paying. Is that your final answer? It's the only answer you're ever gonna get from me. That's a shame. He hooked his hand under her desk and flipped it like it was made of cardboard. The resulting crash was loud enough to make her jump, and all she could do was pray that the heavy wood hadn't landed directly on her laptop. Most of her information was backed up, but not the most recent updates to her spreadsheets. He walked out of the room without another word, and she followed quickly behind him, wincing.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?